bad again. Slam the door as you curse my name.
Cupcake is literally smurfing right now with these hooks. He's open up right now, but they can't harass over the wall.
The counter-engage for the Chiefs is way too good. There is nothing to be done for Gravitas here.
They're even aware of it. Here's your here, and that is the ultimate connected. Themselves into a false hold. Minus 20 minutes off this line.
Only player to lock in this lane. There is just no damage for the Chiefs. Raiden gets the first pentakill of the LCO.
Ah, what a fine evening it is again. Back-to-back LCO Super Weeks. It's going to be a damn good time here on the DoorDash LCO. Welcome back. It is going to be day 11 coming at you shortly. We do have another great serving of games on the menu this evening. But before we jump into that, have an entree, have a look back at yesterday and see what it tasted like.
Start teleporting behind as Pentanet kick off the Dragon. That'll go the way of Pabu, so that's Soul already, but this might just be game over for Mammoth. Look at that combo from Pentanet. Pabu survives by the skin of his teeth, and Wei certainly will not have that luxury. An ace for Pentanet.
Yeah, Winter needs to be careful now as well.
Mel's just going to throw out a rogue death sentence, and sometimes you got to give that a crack, but wow, Sway!
Hovering of the jungler here, Max has to play this one out expertly and wait for his own jungler to make the play. Times it well.
Or does he?
Ooh.
The
That'll be
ignite.
one tick.
Oh, it does
got him.
actually tick enough. I think it was a corrupting pot in there as well that helped out.
Difference between these teams towards Peace Claire.
Halo wants to get aggressive on top of Claire. There's always the possibility for a one-shot. That's what I'm talking about.
What a crazy day yesterday was. A couple of potential upsets. I dare say those matchups were very close, and we have a few more of those this evening. Now, to bring you all the action, let's bring in the talent that's going to be on screen with me here for day number 11. It is Groovy Juvie and your boy Skiminator. Jubes, I think I saw on Twitter you wanted me to ask how you're going today.
Yeah, thank you, Mac. I'm actually doing fantastic because I ratioed the pentanet.gg Twitter account, but to top that off, the man running the social account never gets ratioed, and he copped a big ratio today. So yeah, I woke up today and I chose ratios.
Congratulations. I'm very proud of you, Jubes. Now, Skimmy, how you feeling today as well?
I feel good and bad, Mac, and I'll tell you why. So the reason I'm so happy is because I get to cast with Jews once again, but the second reason, or the reason I'm sad, is because football didn't come home. Football went to Rome. So yeah, me and Jews are watching that one. Two different sides of the coin, and fortunately for him, he got the ratio and the big dub.
Well, I'm sure Jubes is going to have an absolute smashing day then. At least you can, put all your anger into your casting. Let's see how that affects you, Skimmy. Now, let's have a look at the standings as where the teams are currently sitting after all the games coming through from yesterday. So, Chiefs out in front by 2 dubs right now in that pole position up the top of the leaderboard. You got second tied with 3. That's Peace, Pentanet, and Order, all 6 and 4. 5th is going to be tied up there with Direwolves and Gravitas. 7th is Legacy, and 8th, of course, is Mammoth, still hunting for their first dub. Now, neither of you two were here yesterday, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on what the current table looks like, Juice.
I mean, it's just too tight to call at the moment, right? I remember the last time I was on the show, I was talking about Direwolves. I'm not hyping them up anymore. And I think that their reputations have kind of passed by, but then they've had this late surge. Now they're in the mix. Everyone's in the mix. I mean, not even Chiefs are safe, right? Because Pentanet are looking pretty good again. And I don't know, it's just too close to call. Very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, the league standings at the moment are kind of starting to represent what we saw in Split 1, right? But the fact is that everything is still so close. It's a game apart from each other that could determine, who comes to second position. For Chiefs, yeah, you wouldn't be feeling too pretty at the top there. Sure, you got a 2-game buffer, but given how close it is, you just know that another Super Week, another chance for these teams to overtake you.
It's going to be a scary one to manage to secure those top 5 slots to make sure you make it to playoffs. Now, let's have a look at the games coming up this afternoon, this evening, this night. Good night? No, it's not time to end the show just yet. It's just starting, 6 p.m. You got Chiefs and Order going head-to-head. Whew, That one's going to be a POG matchup if Order play their little hearts out. 7 p.m, Peace and Gravitas going head-to-head. Let's see if Gravitas can maybe get another dub on the board over Peace there. 8 p.m, you got Legacy and Pentanet. Now let's see how that one goes. And 9 p.m, Mammoth and Direwolves. Can Mammoth find their first W? That's the question on everybody's lips. Now, Jubes, is it going to be tonight that Mammoth get their first dub? And what game are you excited for?
Some headaches. So for me, it's going to be a cracker one.
What about you, Skimmy? What's your game of the day looking like out of these 4?
Yeah, I'm going to go for the second game, given that it was our longest game of the split so far, right? Just shy of 51 minutes, when the average game length has been about 33. So big upset there for Gravitas to get that dub, and Peace obviously made a few changes to their roster, whether or not that honeymoon phase is well in swing, if they can avoid a repeat.
I'm looking towards that Gravitas Peace game. I think that could be a banger matchup now with Peace with the roster shuffle as well. Looking a little bit unstable yesterday, although I know it is just growing pains. Hopefully the honeymoon period is just to follow after, you know, the dating phase is done, all that. You sort of get married and you go into that honeymoon phase, right? That's how it works. Am I wrong? Or is that how it works, Jules? You've been in
I've never been married. Have I? Oh, teams.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, the honeymoon period is for as long as you can ride the honeymoon, if that makes sense. Like, the more you win, eventually you just keep winning, confidence sky high. You're not in a honeymoon anymore, but you come back and it's going great. The marriage is good, whatever, no problems. The moment that you lose a game or two on honeymoon, maybe there was a fight, maybe you didn't order what you were meant to order for dinner, and then, you know, before you know it, you're down a spiral of potentially what wasn't fixed before that honeymoon.
You got red flags just popping up everywhere.
Yeah,
he is an expert. Look, so you said you hadn't been married.
Been
but
on a few honeymoons.
It already sounds like you've been married. Now, here we go. Let's have a quick look at from the fans. If you guys at home have any solid content for us this evening, remember, it can be as simple as taking a selfie and showing how happy you are to see Jubes back on the broadcast. It can be, I don't know, you giving the finger to your pet and saying, I really love him, but this is just a gesture that doesn't really mean anything. I don't know, maybe, you know, we got to see Parbu's mum with her cat watching the broadcast yesterday. Anything like that, how you watching the broadcast, what you're eating from DoorDash, I don't know, your op.gg, because we have Mr. op.gg reviewer himself back on the broadcast. So anything, literally anything, make a meme, send it in, we'll love to see it, and we'll get it up on the broadcast. Even throw it in Twitch chat, we've had a few eyes picking those ones up as well. And I believe we do have a little bit of content to kick things off here already. So, if we bring that one up, it'll be... Oh, we don't. Okay. I thought we did. Well, here's the content. So let's put Jube's single up on screen quickly. Now, Jubes, give me your best smile.
Oh, I got braces.
Oh, okay. Give me your best frown. Well, that's a beautiful smile. Now give us a frown. All right, if everyone took a screenshot, please take a screenshot of Grumpy Jubes and then just put a caption of why he's grumpy. There's your content. Easy. Absolutely easy. I want to see that in the next break.
I need some Botox, man.
That's right. Look, I got that too.
No.
Now I'm angry even more.
Look at
now.
these, man. Look at this. This is, and then the more I do it, the worse it gets, and you get these. So I'm on your same page.
It's wisdom wrinkles.
Too old, man.
What about you, Skimmy?
Wisdom.
Or are you just too young?
Oh, look, I can't grow any facial hair, so look, I can't even do anything alongside you guys. Look, if I wanted to try and get amongst that bandwagon, I'd need like those little fake stuck-on ones, and maybe.
You look like such a happy kid. You look like such a happy kid, and I say kid because legit, you could pass as.
I still get ID checked, man. I still do. Yeah, it's crazy. It really is crazy. But I guess you just milk it whilst you can.
I haven't been ID checked since primary school because I had this thing growing all the time.
You sound like one of the kids. I guarantee you, like 15, 16, and you just went into a liquor store. You're like, yeah, g'day, mate. Yeah, I'll just get that one off the shelf there. Cheers, mate. You didn't get ID checked, I guarantee, because you had a beard and everything. Yeah, surely.
I can confirm I followed the rules. So I did not actually go into a store until I was at the legal age.
Congratulations, Jubes. I'm very proud of you.
We can't expose them on air.
Now,
you can tell me
Skimmy,
DMs.
when you were a kid, you probably had a pet. But if you had to pick between Daisy Tibbers or the Maiden, which one would you go for and why?
Go for the Maiden.
Yeah?
Because, yeah, you could dress it up. You can make it look nice. You know, the name suggests that it's going to be a bit of fun. And, sure, like, whilst the character model from Yorick doesn't look too appealing, it's a companion that will run it down alongside you.
Okay, beautiful. What about you, Jubes?
Mine would probably be Daisy, because she follows you everywhere you go. She's very reliable, and if anyone gets a bit too smart, she does knock them up.
Yeah, very true, very true. Now, I'll probably have to go for Tivers solely because when I was a child, I did have a very comfortable bear called Floydie, which was my teddy bear when I was a kid. Now, let's hear from the pros what they think on that.
Daisy, Tivers, or the Maiden. Daisy, 100%. High five, Daisy, every time, every single time.
I'd like to take the Daisy.
Daisy?
Probably Daisy. She's just like a massive golem. She can protect you.
Probably be Daisy, because I'm afraid the other two would probably just kill me.
Daisy.
Daisy.
Daisy as a pet because Ivan has like a cupcake skin. I don't know what it's called, but he's a candy king or something. He's like super sweet and sugary and cupcakey, and Daisy's like literally a giant cupcake, so definitely have to go for that one.
Daisy, out of all of them, just because he seems like the most friendly, because like the bear will probably eat me and the maiden will turn me into a ghoul, so.
Daisy. Daisy's looks kind of like adorable and like huggable, that's for sure.
I'd probably choose Daisy because she's probably the least destructive of all three pets.
I'll go Daisy.
I'd pick the maiden.
If I had to have a pet, it'd be Daisy for sure.
Probably be Tivers. I mean, that guy does a lot. He's like super bulky as well. I reckon he could beat Daisy in a fight.
Have to be Daisy.
Daisy seems like the nicest one. I feel like if you were to have like the maiden, it would just be wailing all the time. That doesn't sound very fun. Probably Daisy.
I would say the Maiden, because I feel like, I don't know, she's just an interesting creature. I don't know. She probably has so much like backstory, I guess.
I mean, Tivers is like cool because it like always protects you. But like Daisy is like kind of cool. Oh, probably Tivers, yeah. I'd have to say Tivers. Tivers is definitely the coolest. I mean, it's classic. I feel like Daisy would be kind of useful.
Yeah, Daisy, because she's probably the least harmful.
Maybe Daisy.
Probably just Daisy, I guess.
Daisy.
Probably Daisy. Seems very chill.
Daisy.
I kind of like the Maiden. I like having like an undead pet, I feel like you can get like a bear and a rock are not too hard to find. Like a Maiden, it's like a ghoul, I think it's cool.
I'd want the Maiden backing me up because it's like a champion in its own. Although I do like Daisy's 3-hit knock-up, that's nice. We'll go Daisy. I like Daisy.
All I'm saying, Emelgan lived absolutely popping off there for the Tibbers fan club. Now, I'm sure you guys are happy, or well, Jubes, you're probably the most happy there, going for Daisy, right?
Yeah, I did go for that. What did Skinny go for?
Went for Maiden.
Maiden.
Yeah, look,
we all
I'm
went
trying
for
to
a different one.
Me and Mac are just off meta.
Good way to be, Sometimes the meta gets boring. This meta right now, what are your thoughts on that one? I think it's pretty sick, actually. I think the meta, actually, let's talk about the teams. We got the Chiefs, we got Order coming up, and the Chiefs have been playing their own game, a couple of these carries in the jungle, and I don't know if that's off meta, I don't know if that's on meta. Jubes, how about you tell me about them while we start to talk the Chiefs?
I wouldn't particularly call what Swait's been playing like off meta per se. He's been playing a lot of Kindred, or not a lot, but he's been playing Kindred, Evelyn, the Gwen. They're all kind of like picks that are playable in all types of situations, depending on how draft goes. And I think this is why Chiefs have been most successful, because they do have that in their locker, right? They have the ability to open Swaith up rather as a player and really enable like what he's good at. We saw them struggle with that in Split 1, but they've really just ran with it in Split 2. And you have to give credit to the people around him, like Lived, able to do a job on the set in the top lane. Hisei plays LeBlanc, plays everything really, Champion Ocean. And Draku and Mboma, they also facilitate the way Swaith wants to play the game. And no one has been able to figure them out yet. No one has been able to shut them down.
Yeah, not on a consistent basis anyway. What about you, Skimmy? Any thoughts there on the Chiefs?
Yeah, it's interesting for me, the Chiefs, because whilst we haven't been figured out, they seem to have this clear identity about them, right? Where you put Mboma on this like strong weak side bot lane champion, you give Draku some form of engage to link up with Swaith and Roam and act as the second jungler. Liv will pretty much play anything that's required of him, and Kissei will just play these mechanically demanding carries in the mid lane. They seem to have got this clear idea of this is how we're going to play the game, so we're going to snowball the game, and whether or not we're stacking hard into AD, AP, whatever it may be, 15 minutes in, we're going to have a strong lead to talk about.
And what about Order on the other side of the Rift today? They have been getting a few dubs on the board as well, Jubes, and we've enjoyed what we've seen from them. Sometimes it's a little bit risky, some of the picks and the way that they play the game, but they managed to make it work a fair amount.
Yeah, they managed to make it work, but I think the one, obviously, beacon of light for this team, and I think he's honestly bailed them out quite a few times, is Puma. I think he's having probably the best split that we've seen from him thus far, at least maybe even weeks, right? The best weeks of his career. Even when they've lost, he's been a really solid focal point. But the one thing that I kind of want to see Order do is actually what Chiefs do. Give Kevy the ability to pick what he's good at, because he has a similar champion pool to Swaith in terms of playing carries.
Yeah.
And really just being able to, like, put all your eggs in the Kevy basket, because you know Puma's going to be Mr. Consistency, Mr. Stable. But again, you know, what we see out of them is those big team fight heavy compositions, maximized on that damaged type top laner.
Yeah.
And they're pretty fun. Well, they are fun to watch.
Isn't this... wasn't there some Twitter beef the other day between these two teams as well? So maybe that's a huge factor going into today's matchup. It's going to certainly be a little bit of bragging rights and potentially some more popping off on the Twitter sphere later on.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a grudge match, right? We saw it happen during regular split, a bit of talk between the teams as to who was going to have the best playoffs performance. Chiefs then go into that one and just demolished them, right? They demolished Order 3-0, made it a clean sweep very quickly. They come into the second half of the split and they've just looked like on a whole nother level, right? So you talk about Twitter beef of current. I think for me, as much as we talk about how Kevy and Swaith are very similar in their idea of the game, I think the biggest talking point for me, apart from him, has to be Chungy. He can play these carries, but he's quite keen also to opt into utility. We've seen Azari, Twisted Fate, we've seen Galio as well. He's there to facilitate the team, so he knows that I've got strong side lanes to work towards and can play to perform like that. And I think the last time we saw these two teams, it was Chungy making an absolute huge mind control outplay, not to be outdone by Kisei about 10 minutes later.
Yeah, that was when we saw Keve there on the Viego, so I'm keen to see if he goes that route again or if he's going to go to something a little bit more assassin-y, or even if we see that Vi back in. You know, he's gone for a few different picks so far. Or do you think we'll see something fresh, Juice?
I think we've seen pretty much what we're going to see from Kevy. Like, he has played the Kane, if I'm correct, as well, right?
Yep.
And that's like one of his kind of pocket picks.
Yep.
So I don't think we'll see anything out of the ordinary. If anything, we might see it from Swaith. He's the one that I think has a very diverse champion pool, right? And even then, we've seen his Everland, we've seen his Kindred, we've seen quite a bit. But I think we're just in for a like counter-pick jungle type game.
Yes, well, someone else we need to get in to the broadcast is Nat. Nat, you're down on the sidelines. How are you feeling this fine evening?
Really, really good. I'd like to add in, Juice, you don't need Botox. You look really good, by the way. Don't go for the Botox. I sit here, I listen to everything, and I'm like, taking notes. I'm like, oh, should bring that one up. Juice, you don't need Botox. Also, I'd go on the Tibbers. I'm on the Tibbers train if I got to pick a companion.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Nat.
I think very underestimated the power of Tibbers. But other people who might be underestimated, or maybe not because you guys love to talk about them, is Swaith and Kevy, the two people that will be joining me for an interview. Thank you both so much. Swaith, I want to start with you. Chiefs are looking absolutely amazing right now. And same with yourself with the performance you've been putting on. And I want to know, where is that coming from?
Honestly, it doesn't feel like out of place to me at all. Like, that's kind of just always been our level for like the last split, I would say. And it kind of like was as like we were pretty much the same in split one as well, even though like we didn't really show it on stage. Like behind the scenes, we were always doing on scrims and stuff like that. Like we were always contesting the top teams. So in my head, we've always been a top team. We've just like practiced a lot more this split, and now we're just like a lot more cohesive.
Is that why you think this split it's been able to come out on stage?
Yeah, definitely. Like we just like have found our identity as a team. We're able to like play our style like a lot better. And yeah, we've just like fixed up all the little like stage hiccups we had. But really, it's just been about like polishing it off. Like it hasn't been like a dramatic change, if you ask me.
I love to see it. Kevy, you guys are also having a pretty good performance over there on Order, but I want to know, is being able to play in the same room as most of the team a big factor for that?
Not like insanely. I would say just not having 70 ping every game from my setup at home is like really good. I think it probably is like beneficial to like play next to each other. We like can talk about problems and like do stuff like that, you know. So I guess it is like slightly better, but it's not like insane or anything.
It's probably not your number one advantage, but I do want to know what you think is going to be your number one advantage coming into this matchup against Chief.
I don't know. I would say just like
not real.
probably getting like a good jungle matchup or something. Like just having like an even draft and just playing a game. I think. would be our advantage. Like, I think Chiefs just like to like fight literally everything. So if we just play smart, and normally I think we'll do really well.
I like to hear it.
I
don't know.
Who knows?
Decline to answer? That's okay.
Potentially.
I will ask you, Sweet, what you think your advantage as Chiefs, what your advantage is going to be over Order for this game.
I mean, we're just better players across the board. So like, it would just be more of like it's an underdog story for them to beat us. Honestly, like we're definitely favored to win. Like I think our drafts are better. I think our players are better. It's just they can upset us if they like overperform.
Do you think, Kevy, that having that, I guess, viewpoint that you guys might be the underdog, but having a lot of wins recently under the belt has given you more drive and momentum to win this game?
For sure, like every game feels winnable, right? I think we were like obviously expecting to beat Grav, and like we were kind of hurt a bit by the legacy loss, but we just take it game by game. It's kind of nice like not be expected to like win, you know, like there's like a bit like there's less pressure, I would say. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling.
Does it leave room for something new to come out of the workshop for you guys, or is this top?
Actually, I won't really talk much about like the draft and stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, that's totally fair. My last question though, Swaith, is what did you spend your $100 DoorDash voucher on that you got yesterday?
Well, I haven't spent it all yet, obviously. I mean, I'm not a glutton, but yeah, I've been getting a lot of burritos these past few weeks. Now that been getting a couple of those.
Amazing. I'll have to put you in the same column as Mac of loving the burritos and the Mexican food. But thank you both so much for joining me, and good luck in the game today.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks.
Good man. Burrito a day keeps the doctor away. That's what I've said. No health professionals, but I think it's pretty accurate. Now, let's have a quick chat about what we heard in the interview. So that was less headbutting than I expected from those two. I thought there'd be a bit more, a few more fighting words sort of thrown around in the interview. So any surprises there for you, Jubes?
No surprises. They're pretty... They've all been pretty humble in their interviews, right? I didn't expect anything out of the blue to come out and about from that. I think they respect each other as competitors, as players, and they know they're on a similar level, right? Order pushing for top 4, Chiefs trying to keep first place, so it's not too far away. So I think there's a lot of respect there in that game.
Very good, very good. Now let's jump into the predictions and see where you've all gone today, because everyone but me has done the exact same predictions all across the board. Not to leak early, but I'm just saying. All right, Twitch chat, look, I have to talk to you. I have to talk directly to you. I have to let you know that it's up to us to pick the other side of the coin today. Everyone else, all the talent have gone for Chiefs in this matchup, and no one's gone for Order. So I'm asking you, I'm saying make it be less boring. Yes, it might cost you your Twitch points. Yes, you might get it incorrect, but that's not the point. It's about having people that want both teams to win, and I want you to go for Order, only because everyone else has gone for Chiefs. Now, get that happening. I don't care about my predictions. We can cop an L today. I won't be angry at you. I'll be proud for putting your points where your heart is, where your money, where your mouth is. Anyway, that was a scuffed end to it. But look, I really hope you guys and in Twitch chat are able to get it looking more even than what the talent on the desk think, because otherwise we're going to have a real boring day of predictions today, and we hate boring desk segments. So, Jube, say something funny right now.
Wah.
You're not Jubes, but that was pretty close.
I was in his mind. I knew what he wanted to say.
Hang on a minute. You just threw me under the bus. I'm so shocked. I'm still trying to think of something funny to say.
All right.
But I've got it.
Okay.
I don't. I actually
Okay.
got nothing.
I'll give you an extra 3 minutes, because we fortunately have another interview. This time, it's Mboma talking to Dragku.
Dracu. I'm the support for Chiefs, and I can, my max bench is 140 kilos. If you could remove one champion from the game, who is it and why?
It'll be Yuumi for sure. That champ you can play with your feet, so... I know you like Yuumi, but it's gonna get removed. Jeez. Would you rather fight one Baron-sized Teemo or 20 Teemo-sized Barons?
One Baron-sized Teemo, 100%. I'll one-shot it. I'll one-shot that shit. 100%. How does it feel knowing the highlight of your league career was getting roasted by Nat T on stream?
while I have you, I also have to ask, you know, you said, and I'm going to quote it as close as I can, that you're ready to embarrass them. I do have to ask, how can you say that so confidently after your previous Pro League results were 7th and 8th place last year?
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Oh wow, that's a tough one. Actually, doesn't feel too bad. You know, I'll take it. We take those. Is there anyone in League who could take you on in real life?
Anyone in League who could take me on in real life?
In LCO, I reckon.
LCO. I honestly don't think anyone right now, but in the past, like, I reckon Swiper could one-shot me. Swiper could beat me 100%.
Okay.
Who would you consider to be your biggest rival?
I think for AD, it's pretty obvious in the League. I think Violet's pretty good at AD, so I think if we think about the other players in the League, I think Violet's pretty good at first 15 minutes, and then if we like to split the game into like 2, right? If we're talking about like post 15-20, I'd probably say Predator's pretty good, but I think it's harder to be good in the first 15, so I'd say Violet's more of a rival for me. So, did you dye your hair specifically for Meteor Day, or are you just a Pabu fanboy?
A bit of both. I think Pabu was actually a big inspiration, but I wanted to dye my hair for a while now, like for 2 years. I wanted to try it because I've never done it, but like, yeah, I guess it was coming for Media Day. Like, might as well because it's coming up.
Yeah,
so.
you're so inspired.
Yeah.
We've just won a match and your camera's being shown. How are you reacting? Oh, okay, this is a good one.
I'm not playing this game.
Why not? Okay.
That's how I'm reacting.
There was no soundbite to follow up there. I'm actually really disappointed in the Dragku. Look, hopefully he doesn't see my disappointment before going into the game because I want him to play his best game. But that was a nice little little piece of content there. Now, Nat, can you please say sorry to Mboma because that roast hurt me too.
I do want to say that at the end of Split 1, I did compliment him. I got him in for an interview when they came third. They came third. And I did say that he should be proud of himself. I lost my train of thought for a second then. I did compliment him. I said he should be proud of himself. He's come a long way. I do apologize for the roasting, but I'll say it one more time. Mboma, you should be extra proud of yourself because what you've displayed this split is phenomenal. Probably better than Split 1, so you're forever growing, and I'm very proud of you.
Anything else to be said about that interview before we jump towards Champ Select, gentlemen?
I am also sad about the sheesh not coming out of Goku when he did that.
Yes, there should have been a... Just give me... I heard you were pretty good with your that word. You wanna hit us with one?
Oh, you want me to just do it live on cap? You know, I actually said this to Pabu. I said that when we're at finals for Split 1, I wanted to like just go shee, like just super loud, but he's like, please don't do that. It'd be so cringe. So I'm glad I didn't. But now I've done. So clip it, ship it, and get me cancelled.
All right, well, let's get him cancelled. But let's also get into Champ Select. Game 1 of the day. Order and Chiefs coming at you now.
Well, let's kick it off, Juves. It's a game that we look at, well, basically new rivals here for 2021. The Chiefs taking on Order. Both these teams not too far away from each other, but the Chiefs with a sizable lead. With only 2 defeats up against Peace. They've looked dominant across the board.
Yeah, and I really like how we just completely ignore that you sheesh, and I have to go into Champion Select with you, but that's fine.
Yeah, we just brush it off and move on, mate.
So obviously, Lulu being banned away, Gwen being taken away. Now there's 2 bans missing, obviously from each side. So give me if you just want to give a quick touch on that.
Yeah, got informed by the referees that both these teams have received a loss of ban penalty, so one aside, just for the opening round. So the second half of the ban phase won't be affected, but just for the opening start here, these will be our only 2 bans for the draft.
It actually makes the pick ban a little more exciting, I think, because now you can't, you give away the likes of the Nocturne, right? Probably going to be that 3rd ban in a traditional sense, but nevertheless, here we are. Nocturne picked up by Liv. Pretty much flexed 3 ways if you're the Chiefs. Swaith can play it, Kisei can play it very well. So keen to see where they pop that one.
Absolutely. And if we dead our mind back to when these teams last met, there was a big focus right towards that jungle position. We saw the Evelyn ban, we saw the Kane ban as well, so big focus on making sure that Eva didn't get that under wraps. So Nocturne wasn't available then, but it is here now. But what was available was the Viego, and that's what Kevy played in the jungle before.
Yes, and so Viego Nocturne trade's becoming quite popular, even abroad. Like one team gets Nocturne, that's fine, we'll take Diego. And it's just like a gentleman's agreement, and they end up laning against each other half the time, and it's like a noodle fight that has lethal, right? Like it's just a consistent like backwards and forwards, like trade, little bit of a trade here, little bit of a trade there, but not much happens until obviously you get to the grouping and the team fights. But I really like this Ziggs pickup, and we haven't had much time to talk about it, at least you and I, because I think Ziggs sort of came into meta on the few days that we weren't on broadcast. But Ziggs bot lane for me is like the place that it needs to go. I know we've seen it mid a couple times, but the champion in itself allows you to be weak side so well, and you could pick a roaming or an engaged support that can literally end up top side of the map and have such a big influence. But you know, that rant is probably for another day. We've also seen LeBlanc and Ezreal picked up his skin.
We certainly do, and worth noting as we rush through this draft that we've seen 8 games of Ziggs, 2 in mid, 0% win rate, whereas in the bot lane, where it's most preferred, we got a 33% win rate. The biggest strength obviously comes from the satchel charge to get some early tempo, right? Guaranteed that the Herald pretty much one-shots the turret in combination, but it hasn't been the strongest start. Parallel that on the left-hand side, though, and you've got a LeBlanc, 6 games, 100% win rate.
6 games, 100% win rate.
Yet to lose a game. We've had 3 games from Kiyosei, 2 from Kisei, and 1 from Shock.
Well-wee. Well-wee. The one champion that my eyeballs are fixated on, that I'm really not sure how to feel about, is that Lissandra. I believe we've seen it once before, and it was not the best. I believe it was Gravitas that played it. It was Kiyosei. And Lissandra is an old-school like counter pick into LeBlanc. And whilst it's fantastic for the 1v1, and you know LeBlanc needs to be that little more cautious when looking for those aggressive distorts, and especially when, like I said to you the other day, LeBlanc's kit really revolves around a little bit of poke, right? And it sounds funny to say, but she really does distort over a wall, poke, go back to her normal position, and then you kind of start that fight off with a half-health member. And Lissandra kind of denies that, because if you distort over wall, you get frozen tombed, one shot, and you're as good as dead. So we need to see if Chung is able to really put a stop on Kisei's LeBlanc.
Certainly do, because I mentioned before, you know, he's a very mechanically demanding individual that will play these champions to pop off and try and catch out individuals. So Chung is going to have his work cut out for him with these ultimates. But quickly touching on some of these bans, we can see that, yeah, once again, Evelyn, no surprises, has been removed. The flex that we saw Liv bust out on that one time showing it as a Tryndamere, which caught people off guard. The most important thing for me is, sure, recency bias towards the Kindred, but then Graves. This is an old favorite here for Swaith, as well as Kevi, but yet to really see it, at least in this meta.
And what's funny to me here, Skimmy, since you touched on the bans, is Kindred was taken away by the Chiefs. They're the ones that banned it after Swaith had that, you know, that real big pog off game. So, again, these two junglers just have a very, very similar champion pool, right? They both play Evelyn, they both play Kindred, they both want to be that focus point of their teams. And even with the Kha'Zix hover.
Well, Kha'Zix hover would be a very interesting one because it's Swaith's second most played champion of his entire career. 10 games. We talked about, I think we've already seen it once, if my memory serves me well, where it was into the Carthus. I believe it was Why Not for Legacy playing that matchup. And whilst it's good individually, when it came to the team fights, not as easy to pull off that same level of success. Quickly, whilst we wait for the hover to be guaranteed, as it's not going to be the Kha'Zix, we got another Mundo. We've seen that top and support, but yet to see that in the jungle.
Yeah, because I don't think his clear is very good, to be quite frank, to be honest. And I think that the potential that Mundo has in lane, just trading ability, especially when you pair, because I'm gonna eat my words maybe.
This might.
No.
If it's going to be a bruiser, it may just be another Mundo support, right? We saw it before. It was played by Dragku. They had a poke lane. You've got it combined there with the Ziggs, and it's looking to try and bully out Dragku and Imboma.
Yeah, so it actually might be Mundo support, and they just go double poke lane, bot lane. You're right. Interesting to see how that one plays out. To be honest with you, I wasn't sold on the Mundo support that time Dragku played it. But if I have to do kind of, you know, the quick theory craft that you could do, that Mundo would actually be quite okay into Leona, because if you think about Mundo's passive, can't be CC'd. You do this, you land the Leona Q onto Mundo, gets a health pack, doesn't get CC'd, so then your trading potential in the lane is quite good, right? Obviously, you just want to be poking, you don't want to be having those all-in skirmishes, but at least there's one less target for this Leona to latch onto and to focus. I guess that's where my mind's at when I see this Mundo Ziggs lane into the Leona.
I mean, what we saw from it last time, right? They played, the Chiefs played Ezreal, Mundo. They played it into a Vayne Fresh. They really punished the fact that Fresh couldn't step up, couldn't be aggressive, that Vayne was going to get punished every single time that they went for a CS, right? So I'm interested to see how this plays out because we stereotypically look at the Chiefs and say that we know that Draco wants to play engage. He's probably going to try and roam and look to go elsewhere. Whether or not he says, look, I was the one that brought Mundo into the LCO. I know how to beat this. We'll get to obviously wait and see, but this seems like a classic Mboma matchup. 1v2, I get to play Ezreal. If you leave me alone and try and be oppressive in the laning phase, I'll just ignore that, farm up 1v2, get solo XP, and we'll find advantages elsewhere on the map.
And that's my concern though, right? Is that you leave these two champions in isolation. Like, Ziggs is going to be left on an island, Ezreal is going to be left on an island, both supports will look to roam. And then what? And then the Leona, for me, is going to have a little more impact outside of laning phase. However, if Puma and Beats are able to get off to a solid start in the bottom lane, and they're able to chunk Mboma to half, chunk Draku to half, there's actually no window where Draku can roam. And I guess this is the point of these two picks. You want to keep Draku in lane, because you can't leave if you're just consistently getting harassed, losing turret plates, and getting focused out.
Well, let's see what happens as we get ourselves into the very first game of the night. It's Chiefs taking on Order. And as we get ourselves ready for that one, we've got a special interview once again with Kuden. I want to start, Kuden, by saying congratulations on a great start. It's only a month away before the split comes to an end. How do you as a team stay so consistent?
Play 50 games a day. We rank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Top 10 every role, top 1 every role. We watch VODs, we
just go to
think
across
about
the
League,
board.
we breathe, live League every day. We only think about League, nothing else.
I love it. I love it. And we can see obviously the reward from all that hustle. I want to talk about Order in particular. Do they feel like your new rival? Obviously, we've seen the beef and banter on social media and what happened when it came to the playoffs of the 3-0 sweep. Do they feel like a rival to you?
I don't know. I don't think anyone feels like a rival. I think we're so far ahead of everyone. But like, maybe if they come second, yeah. If they can meet us in the grand finals, sure.
Well, in looking at this draft, were you surprised by the fact that they decided to go for a Mundo and take that out of Draku's book?
Yeah, I feel like Beats is a budget Draku.
A budget Draku?
Yeah, because Draku did it first, and this guy copies Draku pretty much.
Beautiful. Well, on a final note then, you look at this matchup and you're going into, obviously, an Order that are looking to try and impress and try and play catch-up. What do you think your, strength to victory? What is your key to victory in this matchup?
Demolish them in every lane, every role. It's another day.
Easy as that.
The toughest.
Just another day on the Rift, mate.
Yep.
Beautiful. All right, good. Well, we're cracking with the game. Wish you boys the best of luck, and we'll catch up soon.
Thanks.
Well, there's the soundbite, Jubes. You heard it there first.
So, we're seeing a little bit of a different path from Swayth here. He's looking to do one side full clear into invade on Kevi. Now, he obviously knows Kevi's opting in for the full clear on this Viego, as we traditionally see. So you do have that window where he's going to be doing wolves, and you're able to snag this blue buff. So this is just very good, I guess, pre-planning, right? You got the priority in the bot lane. He says he's got priority in the mid lane. You take this blue and
you look for a fight afterwards, because Kevi certainly does. He lands the stun, connects onto Swayth. Swayth in trouble. Not going to use the flash. Actually commits even further. He gets himself a first blood, but the satchel charge is there to try and nullify it. And now the bot lane of Order have just picked up a killer piece.
And this is why priority sometimes is a little bit of a bait. Because even though your lane's pushed, it's quicker for Beats and Puma to get to the blue buff than it is for Draku or Mboma, right? Like they can just cheat through lane almost and get there through Gromp path. And Swayth maybe just kind of had that false sense of security. A little bit of priority means I can do this, but the collapse was just too good there for Order, and they're off to a very good start. Mundo obviously has no mana problems, but having double buffs in the red buff region is going to be nice.
Certainly is. I suppose the silver lining is that the double buffs aren't on Puma to make that even more oppressive to deal with. But for sure, yeah, Beats now in a spot where he's going to be feeling quite comfortable, able to take some very advantageous trades and look to once again zone out the Chiefs. So Worth noting that in terms of summoners that are burnt, it was only the Ignite.
Yeah.
So...
Oh, Draku Flash too.
Ah, yes. Well, Draku has committed everything to try and go for that fight. So, yeah, supports obviously tried to be the difference maker there.
Now, this Camille Aatrox matchup is an interesting one. It has always been traditionally Aatrox favored for the early laning phase. Then if you're not able to really generate up a small advantage at a minimum, Camille does start to take over the matchup at like 1.5 items, especially in the side lane. So, a lot of poke going down on Mboma, and that's a big CS lead. I mean, there's a big wave on the turret, but gonna have to CS it perfectly, which I think it'll be fine. But yeah, so my eyes were gonna be on this this top lane matchup, whether or not Lived is able to get a generic lead himself, or if Maximize is able to ride the storm and then just come out ahead. Because again, we talk about Maximize being a Camille one trick before he was a pro player, right? And so if there's a matchup that he's comfortable on and he knows how to play, ooh,
that's really good.
Yeah, I mean, either way, he was going to have to burn TP because the wave is pushing towards Puma. So just a cheeky base stop.
Just been thinking, Jubes, about some of these compositions, and at least for the side of Order, we always talk about how strong it is for a Viego to find those resets, right? You need all that front-loaded damage to guarantee the first kill so we can transform into them. I suppose the same could then be said of Lissandra with her own passive, right? You find a kill whilst Lissandra's still alive. That's more clones going out, that's more damage, that's more, situations for Chiefs to try and handle.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, going to jump on through, looking to try and land that glacial path to try and commit as they flash on forward, looking for the stun. Fighting to Kisei, but trying to stall it away and get himself back to the mid-wave.
That's
really successful in doing so.
That's really well played from Kisei though, right? Presence of mind to stand, behind Swathe there so he doesn't get stunned up by Kevi. Kisei's got the double dash, so does save his jungler's life there.
Looking for the repeat though, he buffers it. It's not going to be successful because the CC's too good. And Chiefs find themselves a kill onto the mid lane of Order.
Yeah, kill onto mid lane of Order, and that's going to transition into a dragon. It's just, again, the drag queue influence, right? 6 minutes in, he's already looking mid lane. Iboma's farming 1v2, no problems. He's actually up CS, so very happy days for Chiefs.
That's what I find so fascinating about this roster, because you kind of know when you see their draft what they're going to be looking to do. But it seems to catch teams off guard time and time again. Chiefs now looking for the very first dragon of the game, but a 3v1 situation like this, Kevy's surely not going to look for this one. A deep TP, as you call it. There's Liv looking for his first influence on this game. A bit of damage onto one. Kevy removes, the smite is gone. Dragon's already been picked up, but now can they find an even trade? 1-for-1 so far, but Chiefs with numbers, and Chiefs on the collapse looking for more. Maximizing the flank with Hextech ultimatum, but gets flashed away to deny it. Here's the ignite for the cheese. But Mboma will sidestep the bomb, and out comes the ultimate, diving onto the turret. Have Chiefs bitten off more than they can chew? Oh! Swathe, how is he still alive? How is he still alive?
It almost just comes down to micro outplays, right? All these little interactions were just almost... Oh.
Well,
maybe we
not
just
alive anymore.
Maybe we just ignore that. I think that's something that Swathe isn't going to want to see again, and I'm sure he hopes there's no replay for that, because he really did just walk straight past the Mundo. And what does Beats do here? He's going to stop it again. That's a scumbag. that's a scumbag move. But
synchronized resets are scuffed, and well, big waves being crashed. Look at Puma on the rotate.
Yeah, so here's a replay of the fight that we just saw, right? It's a deep TP coming out of Lift, and ultimately this is what makes it so great for the Chiefs. Kisei is able to survive just that little bit longer, and he forces Chungi to commit. If Chungi doesn't need to commit here and Aatrox doesn't get ultimate reset, Mboma's dead. And then it's probably a different fight for the side of Order. However, it's just those little 1%ers in these skirmishes that really just turns the tide for the Chiefs. And here you think, okay, they've made it all out, all members are go, but off the back end of that, Beats picks up another kill.
Yeah, starting to get a little bit strong in the bot lane, isn't he? And he's going to act as a pseudo tank that'll be fairly accelerated in comparison to Draku. We'll get to see what that means in terms of team fighting, because clearly the lane assignments are rotate Puma to the side lanes, get as much value out of these turret plates as possible, and put a bit of an emphasis on towards this first Herald. It seems to be the go. That's why we can see a big presence of members of Order up towards the top sides. And we'll get to see if they can get that cash injection, because the last time these two teams played, it was actually Order that had the gold lead for the majority of the game. It was only 28 minutes in when Chiefs won that fight and got the Baron that the game went in their favor.
And they're actually pinging on the way. They want to contest this. Oh, wow, the damage.
Liv looking to try and beat a bit of a raid boss right now. Zing comes Swathe, Paranoia ticking, the lights are out, and so might yours. That's a 1-for-1 again. Close skirmishes across the board between these two teams. But when the resets come between these two, it's so hard to deal with. The mid-jungle of Order, far too strong in close quarters.
Yeah, and as soon as the Viego gets a reset in those skirmishes, it's as good as done. You've got to call it quits and you've got to walk away. But I wanted to talk about the rotation leading up to this fight, right? You know, off Puma's resetting, teleported top lane, pushed the wave into turret, got 2 tower plates, and forced the Rift Herald skirmish. It's just a very good heads-up play, very good macro decision from Puma to identify that he had TP advantage, and he was going to pick up a significant lead from using that teleport. And Maximide's done the right thing. He walked straight bot lane, picked up the farm. So across the board, very good decision-making, at least in a macro sense, from the Order lineup.
Yes, going to flip that map once again. They got themselves the Herald. It's Kevin that has it in his possession. So normal lane assignments commence once again with Puma on his way towards the bot half of the map. And as the dust settles, only 10 minutes into this one, it is actually the Chiefs that have a small little gold lead in their favor. And whilst the individual matchups, there's sizable leads in mid and bot for Chiefs, I think Order as a whole have been doing some good jobs, some good work here with the plates and whatnot.
And you have to consider with this Rift Herald on Kevy, as soon as your composition has a Ziggs in it, that's a turret, you know? With no Ziggs, it's 2 plates, unless the turret's low enough, of course. But with the Rift Herald, with the Ziggs, it's 1 tower that's down. So it's almost like a free turret that Kevy's walking around with at this point, right? With the satchel charge.
And look at that, you can see on the minimap, those 3 are clumped up together because they need to try and force that next action, right? 3 minutes before these plates fall on down, what do they decide to do? First and foremost, get the scuttle, get the vision, guarantee that the bot half of the map is what you're looking for. Next dragon up in 45 seconds and puts them in a really good spot, as we've seen time and time again when teams are posturing for Prio, summon the Herald and say, well, if you want that dragon, you're going to lose something for it.
It's really good vision control too, though, Skimmy. Like, everything in this bot side of the river is Order favored right now. And all the vision coming out of Chiefs is shallow. Considering how the game started, Order have really done a good job in stabilizing and finding themselves, you know, for the most part, a lot of control. And it looks like it's going to be mid lane.
And does look to be the case as Drag. You're going to cop a fair bit of damage right now. Once again, there's the Paranoia. The Solar Flare goes blind, doesn't connect, but it doesn't seem to matter because the Zenith Blade to follow with the flash is fantastic. They drop the ultimate on his head. Puma, that's Gizamata. Fantastic job to try and even out the scales here, but is it enough? Can Chiefs find more? Can Order find the resets? Viego just far too strong. Kevy getting double buff right now, becomes Aatrox and looks for more. They have a jungler, they have a smite, and they might find themselves their first dragon of the game.
Yeah, and the more I look at these compositions play out, Skimmy, in these skirmishes, the more you kind of understand how hard it is for actual Liv and Swathe to play this game.
Yeah.
You know, even Dracu to an extent, because what does Leona want to do? Leona wants to gain access to a specific target, right? Nocturne does that by ulting in as well. And every time Puma falls down, he does enough damage to the bruisers, to the bruiser bros, to win them the team fight. Like, have a look at this. Bang. 2 people dead instantly, right? Dracu and Swathe can't play the team fight anymore. And then you're playing at a numbers disadvantage, right? Or at least not a numbers disadvantage, but a cooldown disadvantage. Because if you don't win the team fight on the Nocturne ultimate, the duration of the Aatrox ultimate, then I don't think you're winning that team fight at all.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what's happening, right? We see that Chiefs love to force these skirmishes, love to trade up in terms of numbers, but at the moment, Order have got a composition that welcomes that. They want those trades because it gives them the reset potential. It sounds obvious, but it feels like Order are playing into what Chiefs are, you know, known for.
Yeah, and we can see why Ziggs is such a high priority right now in the meta. We're seeing Ziggs picked almost all of the time in Korea, and Ziggs makes you work hard for what you've drafted, in the sense that it's not as simple as, oh, you know, traditional 80 carry, let's just dive backline and we'll win the game as a Nocturne. You really do need to play around that Mega Inferno bomb, and especially because they buffed Hold the Thought.
Hold that for, oh, look at that, a double TP on one ward, he wouldn't be ready for that one. There's the Mega Inferno bomb that you call, and there's another kill for Puma.
Yeah, Puma's online, he's well and truly online. Started off a little bit rough for him, but, you know, 2-2 and 7. And potentially a turret here.
They're playing around him so well right now, but once again, it's the Chiefs looking to try and force that skirmish to collapse from either side as Kisei's looking to try and jump in. The shot then goes the way of Swathe. There's the true shot barrage, but it's on towards Beats, who's got the ultimate ramping and working. Immune to the damage, you'd have to say. The rest of the order stack commit to get that first turret of the game in the bot side of the map as a TP comes in there, caught out of position. Now can Liv look to try and even out the odds with a Glacial Tomb being able to lock him in place. He's got so much lifesteal from this passive. Swipe is just dead. Q2 from the maximized Camille. It's just far too strong, and it's the ultimate to lock them in place. Drake is going to be an easy double kill for them. Beat survives the 10%. Kisse runs them through with the clone and can't find any more. And that's Order with a gold lead.
I mean, that's a 4v5, right? No Kevy whatsoever participating in that skirmish, and they're still able to trade 2 kills for the price of 1. If you're an Order fan, and I don't want to cast the curse it, if you're an Order fan, this game is looking good. It's looking the goods. What Order do really well here is they unironically, they clump up, right? And they force all the members of Chiefs to walk through Puma and his bombs. And Maximize just picked up the Divine Sundara, so, you know, his Q2 is doing so much damage. And a Nocturne playing from behind is always just going to get one shot in those instances. So, Order playing these these skirmishes, rather, really, really well.
It's making it so hard, because we talk about Viego resets, but once again, I go back to the point of Lissandra. With her passive, you're seeing all these clones be picked up. It's making it so hard for them to walk right, because they're, first of all, getting slowed. Then it's that extra bit of damage to assist with Puma, you know, flicking from afar. If it's not him, then it's Maximized coming in just to hook shot destroy you. It's a really heads-up play, welcoming the attention and the aggro that Chiefs are known for, but able to cycle through their cooldowns and slow down the advance.
Did Rift Herald go down?
Well, I see it missing from his inventory,
Yeah.
but I believe the fight was happening as
he did die.
As we missed it. So either he died and we just missed it.
Well, top turret's down, so I wonder, again, I wonder if he placed that top, but I don't think he did, because he was dead, but I don't know. I'm not sure. So there might have been a lost Rift Herald. It definitely didn't get any plates.
We need somebody, we need a VOD reviewer, somebody to run it back. Let us know.
It was we were too busy digesting all the skirmishes and the breakdown that we missed that. They did drop at top. Okay, I got confirmation they did drop at top. So again, didn't pick up any plates, but you know, top lane turret, gotta be happy with that. Another Rift Herald, why not?
Why not? Absolutely, especially with the inner turrets offering that little bit of extra gold right now, a bit of extra control on the map as Order lead 2-0. They've opened up the map, they've opened up the idea as to where they want to rotate to, and played it quite beautifully.
The one thing that I wanted to touch on that we haven't touched on yet is actual Order's composition and how it functions. Camille, Hextech Ultimatum, locks down one target, right? And you think about the mobility from LeBlanc, Ezreal, and Nocturne to a certain extent. They have... We'll get a replay here. Ah, there we go. Fantastic. Oh, he did get plates. Lovely. Lovely.
There it
We
is.
did miss that. We're sleeping on the job, Skimmy.
You certainly are. But I know what you're going to say, right? The fact that there's a lot of mobility, the Hextech Ultimatum completely nullifies all of that, guarantees that Puma's ultimate will connect
exactly.
too. It's just a big one-shot.
It's just a big one-shot. It guarantees you take out one carry from the Chiefs team. And it doesn't even necessarily need to be a kill. You know, let's say best case scenario. Oh, the engage.
Oh, best case scenario, Draken looks to flash on forward, hits the Solar Flare. Lots of people locked in place. This time, Swayth manages to flash away, gets some fruit, and maybe live to tell another tale. Kisse on the hunt. He's flashing and clashing and doing whatever he can with his clones. It's just not going to be enough. It's a one-for-one trade. Mid lane for support. And Drag, who's lucky to be alive.
I hate to say it, Skimmy, because it is only a 2k gold lead, but the fights for Chiefs don't get much better than that. In the sense that Draku landed a really good Solar Flare. That was followed up by Liv getting a Q2 or Q3 Aatrox, right? And it still is turned by the side of Order just because Beats, pretty fed for a support Mundo, right? He's able to soak so much damage, has the Locket as well to deny a lot of the burst coming through from Kisse. And, you know, the Lissandra, whilst not the biggest fan of the champion, and I think there's better options, he's making it work. He's getting what he needs to get off, and he's really enabling Puma and Maximize to output as much damage as possible. But again, it feels like a little bit of a force, right? Because if you look at Chiefs' composition, what do they have? They have LeBlanc, they have Leona. Now, the way you want to play around with those comps is around vision denial. Now, the way that Draku engaged there, it's not necessarily the bread and butter per se, right? It's not Beats, Puma, Chungy, Kevy, Maximize face checking, right? It's a little bit of an overreach, where everyone's, you know, it's almost like your traditional front to back, and it's not really where Chiefs' composition shines. Oh.
The Hex Slash ran out there to try and guarantee that the Zenith Blader was there. There's going to be the Solar Flare once again locking in place 3 people, but the Locket tries to mitigate as much as they can. In comes Liv from the sideline, looking to do whatever he can. 1v4, popping the Gore Drinker and working magic with that passive. It's just not enough. It is just not enough, and they're going to fall on down again.
That's 4v5 again. That's a lost 4v5 yet again for like maybe the 3rd time this game. And the more this happens, the bigger the lead Maximize is going to get. Like, look at him in the side lane already. You know, he's probably a level ahead of Liv, as well as the CS, as well as what's going to be, you know, maybe a little bit of a chunk on this turret. Yo, what's me? This turret might even fall down with the Ziggs.
Certainly could do, because look at the rotation. The boys are there to back him up. Obviously, a ton of damage there with the Divine Sunder at 2. Make that 2.
What's the goal, too? 11-14. Patch 11-14.
Yeah, Divine Duo and a Satchel Charge to guarantee it. Once again, Chiefs never say no. They want to go for a flanking angle again, coming in from the Tri-Brush. That's going to be a nice little pickup for them. Removing Puma, there's some bounty, extra gold for Liv. How many more can they pick up from this one? How much control can they wrestle back off this map? 2 kills, 2 shutdowns.
I actually think that's a bit of a mistake there from Order. I think if Maximize doesn't bail there, they can skirmy there. They can take that fight. Because Hextech Ultimatum's up. It's a LeBlanc and an Aatrox teleport. You just ulti the LeBlanc, who has no flash, one-shot her with Puma, and you play that team fight, 4v5. Little bit of maybe nerves for Order. Maybe they lack of information and they didn't want to take that.
Whatever it is, it's an invitation back into this game right now, because when those members do respawn from Order, 3 TPs is what they have, but they're all on cooldown.
Yeah, but Mega Inferno Bomb is your teleport. I mean, Swathe is within lethal range already. They can't do this.
It was adventurous, and it was possibly their ticket back into this game. You saw how hungry they were for these skirmishes to try and find those kills, to get those shutdowns, to get those respawn times more so than anything, to try and get a bit of control of the map, whether that be pushing waves, turrets, or a major objective like the Baron, but just not enough damage and not enough control to willingly take that blind and make it a 50-50.
Yeah. Interestingly too, what we haven't touched on is Swaith's build. It's actually a Prowler's Claw. Prowler's Claw Nocturne.
Full lethality Nocturne, isn't it?
Yeah, which is, we don't traditionally see that in competitive, right? You often see the well, the Stride Breaker, but maybe he's just not happy with Stride Breaker post nerfs.
Yeah, I'm interested on that. We've seen a few different variations, right? Stride Breaker, Gore Drinker, we've seen the Anathema's Chains as well, where you're just looking to ult somebody and lock them in place for as long as possible. But I think his goal in this game has been, I need to one-shot somebody, get out and prevent a reset.
Yeah, my problem is, though, is like, who do you one-shot? You're not one-shotting Maximize, Divine Sundera. You're not one-shotting Kevi, Divine Sundera, Bramble Vest. Lissandra can't be one-shot because she can self-cast Frozen Tomb or cast it on you. And
it gets obviously even harder when there's the Zonias for item 2 as well, right?
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, you can't guess that Ziggs isn't going to rush Zonias too, right? After Leandri's.
Yep.
So even then, Puma's just sitting on a stopwatch. So it almost, the Glass Cannon Nocturne just feels like it leaves a little bit to be desired in this game.
I do wonder if it means then we're going to see mini skirmishes rather than full 5v5s, although that has been the theme for the majority of this game from the Chiefs, of just butting heads and seeing who comes out ahead.
This is where you run into problems though, right with the Chiefs composition, when you can't get vision control. And they're the ones playing in a lane versus a Ziggs comp with a LeBlanc. There's just no threat. Kisei can't do anything. He just can't do anything, right? He's like aggressively distorting forward, landing one chain and Solar Flare.
There's the Solar Flare once again. It goes out to 3 members. This might be the best chance for Chief to try and find that angle. It's going to be immune there by Mundo, but he's got the ultimate ramping on through and looking to try and top himself up to continue this fight. Mboma on the flank, looking to try and take out Chungi. He doesn't have a flash, but he's going to guarantee the kill. Now can he try and cycle through and join back into the team fight from the opposite side of the river? The rest of his team have just fallen on down, and with the dragon spawning, that's all they're looking to try and put themselves at a potential soul point.
Yeah, soul point, it's going to be Skimmy, and again, like, I don't think that the engage from Dragku is a bad one in terms of it hits priority targets, but there's just nothing to follow up. And the more I see this Lissandra pick, whilst I don't like Lissandra at all, I've gone on record and said that, but it's actually offering a lot in these particular skirmishes, right? It's creating a little barrier and a bit of distance. She casts the Frozen Tomb, and Mboma's zoned a little bit. Like, he doesn't want to step on top of it and take free damage. And then, you know, by the time this team fight's finished, Mboma's really only auto-attacked once or twice.
Yep, had to burn the flash as well to commit to guarantee they at least found 1 kill.
Yeah, and Maximize is just so big right now, as well as Puma. I mean, Mega Inferno Bomb's killing Nocturne from half. You know, this full lethality Nocturne really is not doing much.
It might get a little bit worse as well because the soul to play for is an Ocean. It's going to continue the idea that they can fight 4v4 or 4v5 quite effectively. That Maximize can sit to the side lanes, especially when TP's up. And, you know, at 2 items as a Camille, you're going to be feeling very comfortable, feeling, well, I can group up, I can split push. What are you going to do, Chiefs? Because they're used to winning and just full out 5v5s.
Yeah. And it's funny because Kisei, like, you look at Kisei, he's pretty fed.
Yeah.
He's 5-2-5, up 30 CS. But I think the Lissandra's keeping him honest. He actually can't play the game how he wants to play it. You know, normally we'd be seeing Kisei double distorted on top of Ziggs or, you know, distort onto a mid laner, but at this point, I think he has to, but he's paying a lot of respect to this Lissandra pick.
Yeah, it's like the mind games now, right? Of do I go in and just get frozen tombed, I'm just out of the fight straight away and in one shot, or am I looking to try and sit back and wait for it to come out? And it's that mind game of, well, if I do or don't, then, you know, an opportunity passes by and who else are they going to try and cast the ultimate on instead? It's, I think, a bit of a catch-22 that Chiefs haven't traditionally been faced with.
And Chiefs have done a good job to kind of, you know, keep the deficit within touching distance. But when you think of, you know, you think of it compositionally and who outscales who, you have to say it's in the, you know, it's laying with order, right? Like the favor is with order in terms of Ocean Soul spawning soon. Camille's at 2 items, going to be at a 3rd one very soon. Diego's just hit 2 items, 2.5 items. And all the item power spikes and all the thresholds really is in order's favor right now.
I mean, yeah, given the fact that Nocturne has gone for this lethality route, he's looking for the early game strength, right? You could argue that Liv will become a bit of a monster, but whether or not it's going to be enough to try and match up with the Camille, LeBlanc, if given an opportunity, maybe presents itself in the side lanes. Ezreal, sure, but I think Puma's strong enough right now, given that he's got a stopwatch and now a completed Void Staff.
Yeah.
He's got a whole item over this Ezreal.
And he can afford to do that because his Zhonya's hasn't been burnt, or his stopwatch rather. You know, if they burnt his stopwatch in a previous skirmish, maybe he opts in for the Zhonya's because he needs to protect himself from the full lethality Nocturne. But at this point, he's still got the flash, he's still got the stopwatch. I would just go for the Void Staff. I'll go for the luxury item, right? The one that's going to make me do more damage as opposed to not needing that survivability.
What's fascinating though for me, Juice, is the fact that despite it being what looks to be, I don't want to say one-sided, but for Order, they've looked pretty strong in these skirmishes, always trading up positively. 4 turrets to 1, but it is still only a 2k gold lead.
Well, because it's been Chiefs making the plays all of the time. The Chiefs are the ones that have got their minion waves in a state in which they're ready to pull the trigger. They pull the trigger, they end up losing the trade. You know, they lose 1 or 2 members, or they break even. But Order can't do anything off of winning that because, you know, there's been nothing to take except for your dragon, and that's why they're on Soul Point. So I guess in saying all of that, maybe we want to see Order be a little bit more proactive with the lead that they have now. Maybe we want to see Maximize shove top lane, walk to mid, pull the engage, Hex Tech on top of someone, and then Ziggs, you know, Mega Inferno bomb. Because, like I said before, it's been Dragku just starting the fights, Order disengaging, getting a few kills, resetting. But Maximize honestly could have played for 1 more wave top. Maximize could have played for 1 more wave top, got it a little bit deeper, look for a TP flank or a collapse. We're seeing a little bit of a dance, but I'd love to see Order just pull the trigger.
Bit of a dance that works in favor of Chiefs so far because Liv with the Infernal Chains burnt the passive there, so Mundo no longer CC immune. I suppose if you're a Chiefs fan right now, you're hoping that you can try and get on Puma, ruin his uptime because he's free hitting from the back line. He's got a flash, he's got a stopwatch, he's able to emit so much damage, even if he does fall on down. Can they find that pressure, especially when a full 5v5 clump takes place like this? Maximize does have the TP, but opts to group up. Soul Point in 20 seconds.
Yeah, and we need to keep our eyes on Mboma because we've been talking about the Order a lot, but Mboma is still 1. And here we go, this is what we wanted to see.
He is still pretty strong.
Yeah.
Kisei just destroyed from the onset of that fight. It doesn't even matter, it's a bit of a scuff one because 2 fights from 2 different sides of this lane. A trade takes place, and that's actually quite big in the context of things. The Swave removes Camille, but now can Liv act as that second tank. Swave jumps in there with the Prowler's Call and try and go 1v4. He hits the stopwatch. A lot of damage onto this Ziggs, who was fleeing for a second, but no follow-up to remove him. Chungy now. Zonya's and a denial, but he's going to fall on down. And you touch on It was in Bowman. I was looking to try and be as pop-off as possible. He's going to have to try and kite this one out, but he doesn't have to throw his grudge right yet, so it might not be the easiest task, is to be very careful how he dances this one through. Order committing with TPs to join back into this fight. And with a numbers advantage like this, the Soul Point dance becomes that much more spicy.
Kisei's TP's coming on in. Puma needs to start hitting some bombs, otherwise they're in a bit of trouble here.
It's the best chance that Kisei has. No Glacial Tomb to worry about. This is his chance to try and double jump in. Swaith just might die to the dragon who's got spell immune. Oh, no smite! It doesn't even matter. He might just die for his crime, but he's done enough. He has done enough by denying the Soul Point. Kisei commits the flash, the distort, and then a little bit of an outplay there with a bomb. But Duke's right back into the welcoming arms of the Order squad.
But at what cost, Skimmy? At what cost? You know, you get the second, you deny Ocean Soul, you get the second Dragon, but what do you lose? Do you lose the Baron buff? Because, again, Baron buff with Order's composition is almost impossible to deal with if you're the Chiefs, right? Like LeBlanc, no wave clear, Ezreal, no wave clear, then the rest of your champions just melee range. Pop that off with a satchel charge onto a turret.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. Oh!
Ooh. That was far too close to my liking, I'll tell you that much.
Well, I'd love a slow-mo on that one.
Nonetheless, though, Order get away with it. And they pick up the DoorDash Baron buff. 30 minutes into this game, built the gold lead. Relatively close, but now with that buff, now with that injection of gold and that power, might start to open the floodgates here.
And now, you know, we talked about the stopwatch being burnt from Puma. Now he's picked up the Zhonya's.
Instantly.
Yeah. I mean, but that's a big gold injection, right? Like, he didn't have... He had 3 items. Now he's picked up a Zhonya's and a large rod. So, I mean, I think he also got the shutdown onto Kisei.
Yeah.
But, you know, previous to that, we were talking about how we wanted to see Maximize start a team fight. You know, use that Hextech Ultimatum onto someone, use it onto the LeBlanc, and you see how easy it was, right? It was 2 abilities that killed Kisei. And that's just... It doesn't get better. Like, it's not like, oh, you know, Chief's going to build some HP, build some resistances, and it's going to be a lot easier for them the later this game goes. It's just going to get worse. Like, Ziggs is only going to get a death cap. Maximize is only going to get tankier, only going to get stronger. So, you have to say Chiefs really do need to pull the trigger, and we're kind of seeing that now with their positioning.
Question marks are now. What do they do with these windows where Puma has no flash, where Maximize has no TP, where they can look to try and exploit the current 4-1 split? Can they try and deny some of these Baron buffs? Can they prevent the waves crashing and synchronizing up to open up that first inhib of the game?
Yeah, they need to actually leave Maximize's lane.
Oh! Raku opting to jump in there. Has second chance to redeem himself as he hits the solid flare. Doesn't hit anything. Receives the bomb on his head and might just be able to disengage away. The fountain is next door. But Chiefs need to put up a bit of a valiant effort here to defend this turret. That seems to be a foregone conclusion. The Baron buff onto a cannon's going to remove this one. No doubt about it. 50 seconds.
And that's gone.
And if Order can find a kill here, they might just be able to end the game.
Yeah, I mean, they can probably still end it anyway. That's 3 cannon minions. Is it 3 or 2? 2.
Swaith pushing mid lane.
That is 3.
He's preventing the second wing con here for the side of Order. They are all in on this bot lane push right now. You said it, 3 cannons doing work towards that first Nexus turret. 1's removed, a second remains, and a chance for Order to cause a big upset here tonight.
He just needs the mana. That's really the biggest problem here. He's going to use the teleport to get back there. They are going for the end. This teleport means they are going to end the game, or at least try to.
Well, Chiefs, what do you have? What's left in the tank? Out goes the Paranoia. There's the follow-up. 2 diving boys looking to try and one-shot somebody. There's the Zhonya's denying all that pressure that these assassins are looking to try and find. The resets come out, and Order come out stronger. A GA, it doesn't matter. You're dead. Double kill for Beats amongst it all, who's 5-1 and 16. He started strong in the laning phase, but he's just snowballed beautifully into the latter stages here. 33 minutes, Jubes. And Kevy once more, acting as Leona, but they are acting like a team that wants to win this game.
Yeah, and it's been a very good game for Order, right? If you're an Order fan, this is something to be very happy about. I think it's a very solid draft, very good game plan, and it's almost like they use the Super Weeks to identify the way Chiefs want to play the game, the champions that they're going to blind, and what they want to pick, and you love to see that.
Certainly do. The beauty of playing on LAN with your boys there. What an upset. What a great game for Order. Dismissing the critics who have said, well, you've beaten some weaker teams. you're still middle of the pack. You haven't really grown from Split 1 to 2 in terms of the standings. They hadn't beaten the Chiefs since week 4 of Split 1. I think that really says it all. It's been a long time coming for this roster. And Mac, you mentioned before, everybody was biased towards the Chiefs, but Order have done it today.
Non-believers. Non-believers. Hey, Twitch chat as well. Big non-believers. I think it was like 75% or 66% or something like that. So no one listening to me. I was giving you free channel points and no one did it. So good job.
You're celebrating, but you still lost.
Yeah, I know I still lost. I actually told everyone in Twitch chat, the reason I'm celebrating is because I was going to shave my head if everyone did all the predictions against the talent today. But now that's not going to happen because they didn't. They've already ruined it. So, you know, Twitch chat, maybe next time I offer you something, maybe listen, huh? There could be a little secret to sweeten the pot. Now, big W coming out from Order there. It was very close, though. Chiefs, you know, it was kind of like, you know, inches in it towards that sort of mid to end game. But a lot of those fights could have gone either way. There was some very elongated ones through that mid game as well, which really could have swung either way. If, you know, Chiefs hit 1 or 2 more abilities, then yes, it could have swung back in their direction. But, you know, the same could be said. If Puma did hit more of those Ziggs abilities, then we could have seen it be a much easier game for Order. However, you know, macro-wise, Order ended up playing it that little bit better, getting a few more Heralds there to take down the top tower early, also get that little way in through mid and bot towards the end. And again, you know, you have to shout out to Swaith. The balls to steal that Ocean Soul away from Order on what was maybe 20 HP before he died. It was completely ridiculous. I thought he was going to go early smite and just like deal with it so he'd have more HP, but he didn't do that. He just lived with it till the bitter end.
Felt like he was clutching at straws though by that point, right? Because Juice mentioned it on the cast that sure, you picked it up and it looks fantastic in isolation, but the grand scheme of things were that Order could pick up the Baron, and Baron's what essentially just ended the game against them, right? So the more I look at Order's draft, I think they just had so many cool little outplays to it, where the interactions in the team fights were, come at us, Chiefs, we'll find a kill, we'll deny a lot of your individual strengths, right? That Kisei wants to be aggressive, that Swaith wants to try and dive in. He went for a lethality build. That is still too close to call right there, but I don't know, Juves. I mean, it just felt like such a clever identity and idea from the side of Order.
It was a bit of a draft if that's what we're calling it, right? Like, in terms of, you know, that across the board, like, Order had very good matchups, got some very good champions, and then, like, in terms of the skirmishes and how they played out, like, we got a very good idea in how Order's composition beats Chiefs, yet all Chiefs had for us were just, like, that hard engage, flash forward, use your cooldowns, and it was also, it was almost like they've just been doing it, you know, for X amount of games in a row, and eventually a team's going to catch onto it and I guess create something that's going to beat that. And that's what Order did today, right? Like, the Ziggs just denied any of the hard engage coming on through. The Lissandra was a cheeky little counter pick to what Kisei's just been blind picking. And then, you know, Viego doesn't need an introduction, and Maximize getting his hands on his best champion. Like, it's inevitable.
Yeah, it was a very good draft, all things considered. And I wonder if it's Calvin that you need to thank for that one. However, I think Swaith can think about that as we do move forward. I'm hoping.
Mac.
What? I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
I'm just pointing things out that were publicly available online to see. Now, we can potentially have a chat with Order. I think we can have a chat with Order because we've got Nat down on the side lanes there for the winner's interview.
I am. I'm going to be joined by Beats. I have a few questions that I want to ask him. Congratulations, Beats, on that victory. How does it feel? You guys had a really good bot lane.
Yeah, it feels pretty good because I think I've been playing okay recently, but beating the top team does definitely feel really good.
I could imagine. What was the preparation like coming into this game? And did you guys feel that you got that even, if not better, draft that you were hoping for?
Actually, I think we were planning like something different, but I just remember Max screaming, "Can we pick Monday?" And then I was like, "Yeah." So it turned out pretty well.
It definitely did work a lot in your favor. I do also want to ask about that fight around Dragon when Chiefs denied you guys of getting Soul Point. What was going through your head through that? And I guess, you know, why did it feel not as clean of a team fight that we've seen out of you guys previously?
I think we were really scared of the Blanc teleport, so we had to play a little bit safe. But we knew if we killed them, since they jumped over, like we would get Baron. So we were fine giving it.
What do you think was the biggest key to success there for you guys to have such great map awareness, great team fighting?
I think we've been working on our confidence recently, and I think we won most of our fights today because we were really confident in fighting.
I could definitely see it coming out from you guys. And the last question I have to ask, because it's a very important one, what would you do if you had $100 DoorDash voucher?
Maybe share it with some of my teammates.
Oh, I love that answer so much, Paul. Oh, well, look, congratulations again on the win, and we'll see who is going to be getting that $100 DoorDash voucher.
Thank you.
What a humble
He's
man.
really a support player, isn't he,
Yeah.
Mac? He's like, I will literally support the boys with a feed.
Yeah, that's it, you know, sharing the love. I wonder if it's going to be Subway going to all the boys like before, if it's going to be a couple of burritos. What were you going to say, Juice?
I was going to say Beats, and I've been meaning to say this for a while. Beats reminds me of that guy that like you just bring home to your family, you introduce, and you're just like really happy that this guy's your friend. You know what I mean? Your family loves him, everyone loves him. Like humble, nice. Mum, dad, me Beats. Like true or not though?
True.
Like if I brought Beats home right now, introducing to my parents, like whatever, they'd be wrapped. You know, I'm finally
nice
hanging out with someone. Finally hanging out with someone decent. You know what I mean? Been hanging out with the wrong people my whole life.
I know what you're putting down, Jubes. I agree.
Yeah.
I get you, yeah.
Look, let's see if that one can happen at some point. Beats, there's an open invitation to go and meet Juve's parents. So
He might be
good
from
luck
if he's
with
from
that.
Melbourne. Tell him to feel free, man.
Yeah, feel free. Now, something else you should feel free to do is grab onto this $100 DoorDash voucher because Beats is the DoorDash player that delivered for today's first game. 5-1 and 16, 87% kill participation, 40 wards. Pretty decent gold share considering is that support. And was that Juves or Skimmy? I couldn't
No,
tell.
Skimmy.
No,
Was
it's
it
definitely a
Skimmy?
Jubes angle.
Was
You
it
know, he had to
Jubes?
join amongst it. You know, we're a dynamic duo. We're uncontested with the memes. So, you know, he had to get himself on there.
Yeah, I know. You're pretty much one and the same at this point in time. Anyway, Jubes, you want to say anything about these stats here?
I mean, it was just a really solid game. Again, I still don't know about the Mundo support pick, right? Like, that was my thought process, but he made it work. 5-1 and 16, 87% kill participation, landed the cleavers pretty much all night long. And it was fantastic.
Yeah, it's very, very good
You know that song?
performance. Do you want to sing it again?
No, I can't.
Now
I
we're on
don't
camera.
even know. I don't even know that song.
I don't like it when we're off camera
Surely.
because I can't tell who's doing the memes. I thought it was Skimmy doing the she, and then I thought it was you doing the singing. I don't even know what's going on. So
Little Lionel Richie.
it's just all over the place.
I do want to point out quickly, LeBlanc lost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it was cursed because I mentioned it, right? It was like
Yeah, he
it was
did.
100% win rate champion, but I mean, this
No
is kind of
longer.
exciting where you can have these niche champions that can be those matchups, right? And I think we saw it once before, it didn't pop off, but this time it just really was a sore point for Kisse to deal with. He just couldn't play the champion as aggressive as he wanted to.
Yeah, well, that's one game done for this evening. Now, we do have one more coming up. That is going to be Gravitas taking on Peace. So drop your exclamation DoorDash in chat. Make sure you get yourself some dinner during the break because this match is going to be a banger.
It's going to be hard. Oh!
Ooh. That was far too close to my liking, I'll tell you that much.
Well, I'd love a slow-mo on that one.
Well, Chiefs, what do you have? What's left in the tank? Out goes the Paranoia. There's the follow-up. Two diving boys looking to try and one-shot somebody. There's Zonia's denying all that pressure that these assassins are looking to try and find. The resets come out, an order come out stronger. A GA.